Welcome to the Broken Sun. Welcome back, everybody. This is Spectres of a Broken Sun, Season 2 of our Stories of a Broken Sun podcast. We are moving into Session 2 of the season proper, and things left off in such a wonderful place last time, but we'll get to that. First, I would like to introduce you to our wonderful band of braves who will be playing the characters that populate this world, at least the player characters. So I'm going to go counterclockwise from myself in our video call here and introduce Keekers.
Hi everyone, it's me, Keekers, also known as Colleen. I am she/her. You can find me on Twitter at BeASpaceCat, and you can also find me on many other interweb websites under the same name. I play CD, they/them, the mortician, doctor, and jailbird.
Indeed, you did do some hard time for a few hours last session before Sarah came to spring you from the clink, from the hooskow.
Yeah, CD definitely had started to mark up the walls with checks or the little
It had been literally 5 hours.
Instead of marking days, it was just marking minutes.
Exactly.
The whole wall was covered. It's been so many minutes.
CD just is, I would not say that they live outside of time, but they live at a faster rate than us normal beings do.
She has to go fast through time.
Yes, always.
We're also joined by OG Brown Sugar.
Hi everyone, I'm Velvet. You can find me on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar. I use she, her, and I play Augustus, they, them. Really the only responsible and respectable person in this entourage. Everybody else be going to jail and starting bar fights.
That's true. Augustus was playing up the respectability politics in our last session and escaped unscathed except for having their identity and location recorded in that place. I believe when last we left off, Augustus was attempting to defray suspicion somehow by, offering to purchase the location or starting to enter negotiations to purchase that location, the bar that had burned down, had a hole inside.
Yeah, there were some pretty passive-aggressive negotiations.
And finally, we are joined by Salistreus.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Blood, and I use they, them pronouns. For the purposes of the podcast, I play Slip, who also is they, them. And Slip is definitely a consummate coward.
Slip did a good runaway, at the end of last session. To be fair, Slip did run into their hated rival, Whiskey Tango, on the mean streets. Whiskey Tango went on to arrest CD for their own protection. And I'm Matt. I also go by ARP. My pronouns are he, him. I am the friendly guide on this here podcast, and I will be shaping the world around the decisions that these players make. So I am also playing the game. I just sort of it's an asymmetrical game. My rules are slightly different from everyone else's, but we're all still playing together. So the three of you find yourself back aboard the Probable Cause. I can't remember if we've described the Probable Cause, but it is a large chrome sphere that you all live on, and it rolls around. It's got a gyro stabilizer, so the interior stays mostly still while the hull rolls around it. It's like one of those ball bearings in one of those children's maze toys, or a pinball that makes its way through the layers. Where have you been hiding out? Because you've got 4 heat in the mid layers. You've got 0 heat everywhere else. So just as a reminder, I put that on your Probable Cause character sheet, unless it didn't save. No, it did save. So you have 0 heat in core, 0 heat in the inner, 4 heat in mid, and 0 heat in outer. So where do you think you have brought your orb to lay low?
You think we're in the outer layers?
Probably.
Okay. The outer layers are more fraught than usual right now because pretty recently there was a big old explosion that blew off part of the outer hull. And that caused a lot of damage to many of the systems that keep this battle station fully operational. It's still operating, but it's been having issues with power. Lights have been flickering. There have been rolling brownouts in the sim, particularly in the mid and outer layers. Everything seems fine in the core and the inner layers, of course.
Were there any casualties reported?
It is hard to say. They're still working through the emergency response reports. And the primary concern of the people in charge of these investigations is infrastructure damage and damage to the station itself, not so much what happened to all of the people who crawl around on the outer layers eking out a survival, because a lot of them are backed up. So for most people, they just figure, oh, we can just re-download them. It's fine. We'll upload them into a new starter body, and they'll, even if their house has been destroyed, whatever. We'll give them a shack somewhere. There are probably camps set up and things like that around the damaged areas.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I can't see the Sun government providing anyone with a house.
Well, not a house, but a space, perhaps.
Well, like those big old, like, gymnasiums or what have you.
They get the funniest to cover their heads from the acid rain.
Supply closets, nooks and crannies. And speaking of nooks and crannies, there's a big news story that has been making the rounds, and Terry has been playing it for you in its most recent form. So in the news story, you see the little you hear the little jingle as the hollow screen pops up, like do 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 do. As this is HMG. Jennifer Trefire, the chief executive guru of Olympian Interior Design, announced today that her company had won the Solar Free State contract to install new power generation systems in the wake of the recent station terrorist attack. With a significant section of the hull damaged, the power grid has been taxed beyond its limits, leading to rationing and rolling sim brownouts in the outer layers. Several companies, including ExoDev, Nimbus Heavy Aerospace, and even the Solar Workers Union, put forward proposals to alleviate the issue. The SFS High Council selected Olympian Interior Design's mandatory minimalism plan after a great deal of debate and several public hearings. Chairman General Major Payne called it the most humane and affordable option. Reached for comment earlier today, Jennifer Trefire had this to say: Mandy Mini is a simple plan, really. We need more power, and for that, we need more generators. And for that, we need more space. Many of our citizens living in the mid and outer layers don't need a lot of physical room, as they have ready access to the sim and no biological needs to speak of. So their living quarters can be optimized to make space for generators in unused nooks and crannies. Our fabulous designers have found a way to streamline approximately 1 million apartments, and will be sending out plans to all affected citizens in the next few days. And don't worry, folks. We've made sure that the generators are all decorated in the latest styles. We've taken inspiration from our friends on the station with this exotic Star of Yog pattern, and we built the generators specifically to emit soothingly primitive desert rhythms as they run. You won't even notice they're there. Citizens who are unable to rearrange their living spaces and pare down their belongings to accommodate the new generators will receive assistance from Thetacom and Coleraine contractors in making the necessary adjustments. This has been Li Xia for Huateng Media Group. Stay tuned for a new procedurally generated episode of the Primeval Atom Hypothesis. This week's episode, The Taurus Corollary. The news report ends.
CD starts pretending to punch the air, like it's a punching bag.
That must look fairly interesting with your servo arms going zzz, zzz, zzz.
And CD kind of like cranes their head around, is like, if y'all ever pay attention, you notice that like 50% of what I do is always like a reference to something else.
The pile of junk that makes up Slip just turns towards Augustus's presumably gorgeous bot. And I didn't get that. Did you get that? I didn't get that.
I will hold up my data pad that is actually a small bingo board throughout the day. I will use it to cross out all the references CD makes.
It's not a drinking game.
What are you going to drink?
You're
Oil?
right. Or
Acid.
alcohol, if we're going Futurama robot rules. But So Augustus just crossed out FF7.
Oh no, they crossed out
you
that
get-
little board game where you move the punching boxing robots.
Rock'em Sock'em.
Rock'em
Is there a
Sock'em.
different one?
Oh, okay. They've never played FF7 then.
It would be a very old game at this point. But maybe there's been a remake to the remake.
There's the re-release of the great old story.
Final Fantasy VII Omega Drive X5 Third.
Someone transliterate that. Put that on the Twitter.
Yeah.
I took inspiration from Guilty Gear titles. Okay. So there's a ping on your datapad CD. You've received an official email.
Ooh. CD stops doing their impression and picks up their datapad and looks at it.
Okay. The subject line just reads, "Congratulations."
Congratulations. I've probably been selected to receive some sort of special money that someone wants to wire transfer me from like one of the outer layers
Or
I
your
don't
house
know.
has been randomly selected to be downsized.
No,
Is it
my
from the deposed
things.
Neptunian prince?
There has been a spam email that goes around every few decades that claims to be from a prince on the station. They need your help transferring their natural resources. You know, they're being held in escrow by the what would they call them? By the hexcoms. The hex cops is what they call them. The hex cops, magical police officers who get in the way of Yog fearing citizens. The people on the station don't actually know anything about what's happening on the station. The people on the battle station, I should say, don't have no idea what's actually happening on the station. They just make things up.
Fun fact about the hexacops, their vehicles are hexagonal. So they just go in big donuts.
Like we make Yog up.
Yeah. Yog is as far as they care to learn what Gov is called. They haven't, I mean, they could find out. They could find this out. They don't.
I guess like Yog does make a little bit more sense because it could be a rearranging of some of the letters, but
Could be.
it's still wrong. Anyway, CD will open the email, but quickly write a note down beforehand in their thing that there might be a resistance thing on the station. Codename Avalanche.
So the email pops open, and you see the face of Jennifer Trefire, Jen to her friends. It says, "Congratulations, CD. You've been selected for the Mandy Mini program."
Oh no. Oh no.
And there's more information telling you about the deadline that you have to throw out about 3/4 of your belongings. And that they're going to send you, as it turns out, basically extremely cheap, like tin partitions that you'll be able to put up around the space that you wish to live in. And then the rest of the space in your current home will be used for generators. You look at it, and despite what they said in the advertisement, it looks like they're actually going to be taking up about 80% of your current living space with generators.
This is not good.
Yeah.
How bad's it looking?
The deadline is in 10 days, at which point you will have assistance from Thetacom or Coleraine contractors who will come to your home and assist you in making the necessary adjustments.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to find a different place to put all of my stuff, because I'm not getting rid of all of my stuff.
Wait, you have stuff in your apartment and in that pile in your room? There's more?
Of course.
It just hangs there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, what else is CD gonna say? They don't want to say too much about their hoard. It's their
Yeah, we just
hoard.
pan over to the horde that is just sliding out of the room. like the appetizer from SpongeBob. Legally distinct Bob.
How difficult is it every time you open the door to your quarters on the probable cause to actually get inside without being buried under an avalanche?
I think that's under an avalanche. Yes, I think that CD has it all like in containers. While they do have this quote unquote hoard, they are at least organized about it because, you know, everything is important to them. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea about CD's hoarding necessarily being the now diagnosable mental illness related thing of hoarding. I think that CD has gone through enough therapy or whatever that they don't hold on to things that are necessarily useless or hold no value, but it's more like one of those people that have a very organized collection that just is taken completely over.
Right.
That sounds equivocating.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that I don't want to I don't want to be equating an actual illness here as much. I don't want to be disrespectful to people that do have that problem.
CD has a collection of important, like, cultural artifacts,
Yes.
primarily surrounding death and death rituals, right?
Yeah, that's
And
most of it.
CD is very old, like all of you, or
Yeah.
as far as we know.
I resent that.
So it's been several centuries that most of you have existed. So during that time, even sort of a moderately interested collector would amass quite a treasure hoard.
Exactly. I mean, there are other things in there that wouldn't necessarily be considered death exactly, but, you know, like the Operation game. It's just because it's more doctor, or there is... Obviously, everyone's going to own things that have sentimental value, but anyway, I think that what CD is now faced with is like, okay, I'm going to have to keep the at least some of the I guess what's going through CD's head is keep the sentimental stuff in the home and move all the
You're going to have very little
paraphernalia
space
out.
left to keep things in your official quarters
But then again, maybe...
in the military district, as I recall.
Then again, this might be a good thing because of the fact that if any people come into my apartment and they see a little too much crazy stuff in there, wouldn't be very good. But yeah, so CD is organized so it's like bins or whatever that they are able to walk around inside the probable cause to answer that original question.
So you've got 10 days to work on this. I don't know if you want that to be a job. I'm not sure how that would work as a job. This is more like a thing
It'll be a montage.
that is happening.
The
I
job.
want it to functionally be the thing that we do. Try to
Yes.
find a way to opt out of Mandy Mini.
And also help CD with their stuff. That would be amazing.
CD's makeover.
Marie Kondo with CD.
Does this spark death?
Yes.
You
All
gotta
of
get
it.
your groove back again.
Okay, so yeah, that's a thing that's happening in the world around here, and you know that this will mean a lot of people. They've mentioned 1 million apartments, so a lot of people, mostly living in the outer layers, are going to be going through this same thing that CD's going through. It's going to lead to a lot of probably resentment,
Yeah.
and possibly violence, protests. We don't know. Depends on how downtrodden the people are feeling at the time.
I mean, the thing is that I just imagine that they pick CD because they're like, oh, well, they're a low-ranking army person. We can just mess with them.
Could well be.
They can't argue with us because they work for us.
Of course, the claim would be that it is random lottery. But interestingly enough, it's, as they said, only for the people who don't have biological needs in the real world. So that's mostly outer layer folks with some parts of mid. So you've got also some messages that are coming through to you from different sources as well. Augustus, you've got a dead drop note that you received from one of your contacts. There is a pending request for contact from the junkyard, and there's also something that Terry is holding on to for you. That is a notice from the Umbral investigations.
I did want to clarify where if the junkyard was like a separate message just for Augustus, not like the party job.
A message from the junkyard.
Oops, there goes the free meeting.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to start another one. Where is our message from the junkyard? Ah, okay. Now the message for the junkyard is for the whole crew. Augustus, you have an individual message, not from the junkyard, just from one of your contacts.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then Terry himself is holding on to a message for you all that is from the junkyard. Oh, and the last message was from Umbral Investigations. So the message from... Oops. All right, Augustus, You want to read your message?
Yes.
Okay. So the message that you have received is from Ishtar. You want to tell us a little bit about Ishtar?
Ishtar is an underling in the cult of the Bacchanal, and I've allegedly left her as sort of a linchpin. She has a gift in that she's very charismatic, and everyone in the cult really flocks to her and just will like die for her. Which is fantastic, but also very spooky. And she's very loyal, but a little like too narrow focused. Like she doesn't seem to have like any sort of grand scheme type thing. Like she is very just committed to the Bacchanal way.
Okay. So the message that you have received from her is you can tell that she's very distressed right now in the message that she wrote. As it turns out, as you know, the Church of Bacchanal is considered like a gray area in terms of legality. Technically, there's nothing illegal about having a cult here on the station. However, they are not under the control of a corporation, and they're not under the control of the military government. So there's always attempts to kind of get rid of them. Plus that the message they spread doesn't line up particularly well with the official party line on most things in life. So the message you get is that Ishtar has received from one of her agents, a spy, who is a spy in Huatang Media Group, the official corporate news outlet that also tends to work for the Solar Free State, that they are mounting another aggressive smear campaign against the Church of the Bacchanal. So Ishtar is deeply upset, and what you have learned is that this is going to be like a real ad blitz. They're going to have hollow ads in the sim and out. They're going to have pop-up ads in like your eyes, because obviously when your body is electronic and your eyes are cameras, they can easily just insert advertising into your field of view at any time they want. Now, there was a lawsuit about a century and a half ago mounted by the Solar Workers Union, which restricted the amount of space in your field of vision that can be used for ads at any given time to 30%. So at least it's only 30% of your view at any given time that's playing advertisements. But there could be pop-ups in everybody's view that have these anti-Church of Bacchanal messages. They're going to have billboards in real space and broadcasts, everything. It's going to be a real push to discredit the Church of Bacchanal this time. She has asked if there's anything you can do about it. Ishtar is aware that you have certain connections to the underworld, and basically is saying, like, is there some way you can destroy these ads, head them off, hack in, replace them with something else? Is there some way you can do this? So that's the ask from Ishtar. Head off this blitz before it can begin.
Yeah, I will present this request to the rest of the party.
Well, I can think of a few interesting things to do with that mandatory ad space.
Do you want to take a look at your other messages first?
Yeah, definitely.
So the messages that are being held on to you, one from the junkyard, and the other one is from Umbral Investigations. So from the junkyard, you have a message saying, please update. They're saying, you got our money. Where's the artifacts? We hired you on behalf of the Solar Workers Union to recover the artifacts. We know something went down. There's no artifact in our hands. What's going on? The heat is only mounting. More and more factions are learning about this box that you have that you obtained before your last session. We're starting to get some heat from the Surface Liberation Front, from the Sodality of Preservation. They're putting pressure on us through Hornet Squad and Fireteam Orange. Clozarine is getting into the mix. Even Thetacom, and I hear rumors that Thetacom is being hired right now by Larip Automated. The buzzards are circling here. We got to get this artifact now.
Question. How big is the artifact in real life and in the sim?
It's like a USB key style thing. USB 10.5.
Oh, gee, here. Okay. Okay. CD says after hearing that, and says, look, folks. Honestly, I'd like to do whatever thing would get the least amount of heat right now because honestly, I don't want to add to the case they have against me for the murder I did not commit.
Fair point.
That being said, let's go ahead and read the other thing we got.
Sure. Would you mind playing that for us, Terry?
Absolutely. Here we go. And the last message comes up, and it is a grainy security photo of what appears to be a tank driving through the streets in the outer layers, and it does not fit on the roads. So it is damaging everything as it drives around. It's got a turret, 2 turrets actually, and like they're swinging in different directions. They're bashing into people's buildings as it turns corners. It's just like its treads are too big. It's too wide. It's too big for this space. It shouldn't be here. It's just damaging everything. The roads are getting torn up by its treads. No good. So this is from Umbral Investigations. And you don't know necessarily that they're the ones who are trying to hire you for this, but they've got the security photo and there's a message like, behold the latest from ExoDev Advanced Armaments. This is supposed to be a civilian crowd control device in case of riots. It has gone rogue. Obviously, no one's doing anything about it because it's just rampaging around the outer layers. Who cares? It's already damaged. And it's really embarrassing, so nobody's claiming ownership of the device.
Well, right now, we could hack some ad space, finish up with the junkyard, and get the buzzards off their back, or we go and get a new tank puppy. What do you think?
I'm tempted to go with the airspace, ad space. Not only do I owe Ishtar a favor, but I think using the reverse campaign to discredit some of the more diabolical establishments on the station while allowing the Bacchanal, who just want free love, to get a footing would help us on 2 fronts. Whereas I don't think we have the armament or imposing physicalities to stop a rampaging tank.
Or anywhere to put it if I was able to
Kiki.
take control.
Kiki, come
That too,
on
we
up
did just have a conversation about decluttering.
That's fair, and we definitely can't fit a tank in here, right, Terry? Can we?
It would depend on how large the tank was, really.
Well, what about the tank in that photo?
Terry doesn't have a body here right now, but Terry's controls make a hollow of the tank. Well, judging by, let's see here. If I look at it and extrapolate from the surroundings, I can probably figure out that it would be approximately this large. And the hollow projectors on the inside of the Probable Cause project a holographic image of the tank in real size, and it is about the size of the Probable Cause. So you're just seeing some internals of it. You're standing inside of bits of hologram. And Terry says, you know, on second thought, I don't think it would fit in here very well, would it?
Well, maybe someday we can maybe centipede the Probable Cause.
Horrifying. I hate it.
Absolutely.
Same thing here. Now, what if we decided to take that ad space and hack it and then put this tank message instead?
Well, I'm hoping that we might still be able to grab the tank after we finish with the ad space. See, I think that's thinking a bit small. No offense there, CD. And I don't want to involve my personal life into it, but I think that the ad space would be an excellent opportunity to discredit one of the Sun's most valued sons.
We could just make an ad like pro, and then CD just stops, like completely frozen, just doesn't even know what they're gonna say. And they just kind of are frozen there for a second and don't move to make it seem like it's some sort of glitch because they couldn't think of anything.
An error of type 2049 has occurred. Cannot access printer.
Exactly. And then CD turns to Terry. It's like, so Terry, how are you today?
I'm doing just fine, CD. There are several of me out and about on the various errands, and that's always an exciting prospect. I can't wait for them to return and dock so that I can find out what exciting adventures they've been up to on your behalf.
Terry, how would you feel if I decorated this area with this old sarcophagus model I have. Would you want one?
No,
Ah.
I don't want a sarcophagus CD.
Dang it, Terry. Why won't you enable CD in their hoarding?
Anyway.
Yeah.
This is a finely tuned smuggling vessel that you've installed me in here. The idea of using it to store a sarcophagus that we're not planning to sell just goes against my programming.
And our better
I
interest.
start taking boxes off of my CD bingo.
Fake glitch because CD doesn't think of it, so they pretend that they glitched. Sarcophagus.
I've got Rock and Sock'em reference, some kind of sarcophagus or coffin, my free space, the fake glitch, and then trying to get Terry to enable their hoarding.
Damn. Specifically, Terry.
How close are we to bingo?
No, not right. They're scattered right now.
Okay.
Anyway, Augustus, Ishtar, did she want anything particular with the ad space or just fix it?
Just fix it, I think. I like your idea. I think we should be using it to disparage some sort of public figure, have them scattered to save face, give us a little breathing room. And if possible, we should take the tank, maybe paint it a little different. So if anybody asks, we'd be like, nah, that wasn't Tank. It's a different Tank. This is Hank.
Good idea.
Hank
I
Tank.
love the Hank. Other idea, also make ads showing the real size of the generators, protesting them.
Oh, see, that's even better. We can foment a proletariat revolution with people actually aware of the circumstances that people are living in, or will be.
I don't mind having a generator, it's just too big.
Gotta have that power somehow.
We can make multiple ads.
That's true. We can have them cycle. We don't have to think small.
Now, this would require you to hack into the broadcasting systems of Huateng Media Group. Have you considered that maybe that's dangerous and perhaps even beyond your means?
That's fair, but maybe we can get an edge in with somebody who has an in.
I don't mean to disparage your abilities, of course. I know you're all very competent operators.
I'll be very honest with you, Terry. I'm just very good at getting away.
Yeah, I'm not some sort of elite hacker, though, either.
Do we know any elite hackers? Come to think of it.
One of you has a hacker contact.
Oh, wait, I just remembered. I know a hacker by the name of Lord_Fist.
The underscore makes
You
it
sure do.
serious.
But are they elite?
Well, I've never been caught. What's elite mean? By the way.
Elite?
Elite, I think.
Elite?
You know, like the beat agents.
Oh.
As long as there aren't any XX Master Shadow Assassin Ninja in the name, they're pretty legit.
Well, you know, she's a lord. So Lord Fist. That's pretty elite as far as I'm concerned.
How much would this set us back, though?
Oh, probably a few cred. Or we can owe favors, which is, well, that pile's mounting too.
Terry, I don't feel like doing math today. How much cred do we have?
It should be on your ship sheet, shouldn't it? Let's see.
If I've learned anything from living on the sun is that we can accrue a ton of favored cred and favored debt and then just declare bankruptcy.
You have 2 cred. That's left over from the money that you stole from the dead guy.
Rightfully claimed.
You didn't complete that job.
But we will.
We absolutely intend to give them the box. Terry, do we know anything more about the box?
I mean, money and creds aren't even real anyway.
I suppose we could find out, but it would require plugging it into some type of machine, and I don't want to do that.
I mean, we could plug it into me. I can't get any more broken, right?
You absolutely can.
What?
It would be very painful if it were some type of cyber warfare or a virus. Maybe it's somebody's brain. It's impossible to tell.
Ooh,
I can't access it. It's got military-grade encryption.
I'd love it if it was someone's brain.
Wonderful.
You're a queer duck, I tell you what.
Gonna tack off another box there.
Speaking of, what's the free space in the middle?
Why wouldn't
Just
I give
free
myself
space.
a free space?
I'm Augustus. I have free space.
What kind of masochist doesn't give themselves a free space in bingo?
I know, but the free space, sometimes you label it.
Just free
Your CD
space.
says something weird. That's the free space. Well, I mean, there's no reason to expose myself to that much potential harm.
So looking at this mechanically, what are these jobs offering? So if we look at them, smuggle the artifact to the Solar Workers Union, you will receive like 2 cred, which is the amount of payment that was being held in reserve. You will not get any additional cred unless you maybe try to negotiate, because this is a job you already took on and didn't finish. So you could also you learned from that message that there are a number of other people interested in this artifact. You could try selling it to them. You would take a pretty major hit with the Solar Workers Union and the Junkyard doing that. So that job's worth 2 cred. The mini crowd control tank job is worth 4 cred. If you don't take that one on, there's no way of knowing how long that tank is going to continue rampaging through the outer layers. And the job for Ishtar is offering you 6 cred.
Ooh.
Very tempting.
Though I do want, personally as a player, I want more rep with the SWU.
I mean, it's hard because I want to do all of them. Well, I guess I wouldn't mind not doing the tank. Honestly, me personally. I think that the CD would probably not care about the tank as much either.
I think Slip is most interested in maintaining relations with the SWU, but would love a crack at hacking Huatang just for the sheer clout.
Monies.
In terms of the your current status with different factions involved here, you're at -1 currently with Huatang Media Group. If you do the job against them and they find out it's you, that's going to bring you down to -2. A reminder, -3 means you're at war. That comes with a variety of changes to it. Currently with the Solar Workers Union, your status with them is 1. If you screw them over here, that's probably going to go down to 0. With the Junkyard, your status will also go down to 0 from 1. In terms of Umbrella Investigations, your status with them is 0. It's not clear whether your status with them will change or not, whether you take this job or not. Maybe they've contacted other freelancers for it too. We don't know.
I say we throw in with the SWU and then see if we can finish this favor for Ishtar. No offense, Augustus.
No, none taken. They're all very lucrative options. I will still throw in my lot for Ishtar as a priority, though.
I don't want to be the deciding factor on this one.
Well, Terry gets a vote too.
I got a vote now.
Terry, you've always
I've never
gotten
had
a vote
before. Nobody told me I had a vote.
Terry, you have a vote.
Wonderful. I vote you install me in that tank.
Terry, you're a treasure.
I want to be a tank.
Is it?
But what
They
about
both start with T.
what about robust smuggling vessel?
That can be 2 things.
That is true. You run multiple iterations of yourself all the time.
I'm a very large brain, Slip. Extremely powerful. I'm an artificial intelligence, not one of these virtual intelligences running things around here. I'm the real deal.
If we get those creds, we can buy you many bodies. You'll be Legion.
That is true.
I do like bodies.
I do too.
Could be an armory.
Got a chill down my spine.
There's always the possibility that if we get the extra cred, we could buy the tank from whoever else gets it.
Or, we just find out who takes it, and depending on whether or not the odds are suicidal, we just take it from them. I'm not above robbing thieves. Or below it.
But are they
How would you
thieves?
position that morally?
If you're high enough, you're above the influence.
So how do you do votes here aboard the Probable Cause? You just put up your hands? Do you have some type of secret ballot system? Is there a buzzer?
Well, right now there's one for each, and we just need CD.
CD looks, and if they could sweat, they would start sweating. Like they're looking back and forth, like...
We could always roll a hollow die.
How about that? Actually, I have a actual physical 1d4 I could do. Or we could...
All in favor for the hollow die?
Sure.
The Dice Lords decide.
Terry?
All right. What are the values associated with each one of these possibilities?
1 is Solar Workers Union. 2 is Ishtar. And then 3 is Tank. 1 and 2, Solar Workers Union. 2 and 3, Ishtar. Wait, 3 and 4.
There's
and,
some overlap there.
And then 5 and 6, Tank.
Very well. Here we go.
All right.
And Terry projects a holographic 6-sided die, which lands on a 6.
Well, there you are.
I'm going to be a tank.
You're going to be a tank, buddy. We're going to get you in there.
CD starts clapping. Like, tennis clap. I can't clap while pushing to talk.
Okay. I have moved the job mini crowd control tanks do not work, all in caps, into the in progress job window. So, this is the job you're going to do.
As we decided normally and as cognizant human beings.
All right. So, how are you planning this job? What are you going to do here? How are you going to take on a tank the size of your smuggling orb?
Well, what if we got like a Star Wars restraining bolt on like a crossbow?
I say we need to start with specifications. We don't necessarily need to know where it came from, but we need to know what makes it up and how best to go at it.
Okay.
We get a bigger tank to beat that tank up.
Oh, we have a bigger tank, and I tap the hull.
Maybe someday I'll have a gun.
We're gonna get you that gun.
Terry, what would you do with a gun?
Smash the state, CD. Jeez.
And how?
I mean, I think, yeah, you do have weapons on this ship. We never really discussed what they were, but maybe we can figure that out. Okay, so it sounds like you want to do some research, Slip.
I would love to.
Okay, so you're going to be gathering information here. So we're going to do let's see, how are you doing this research? Tell me about it. What does Slip do to find out information about this tank?
Well, I think Slip might consider contacting people in the affected area or going there in person and asking about experiences, other than just the general mayhem of this tank destroying city blocks and decimating people's homes. What, aside from there being a rampaging cyber tank, is there anything weird about it? Like, does it appear to have, is it all random? Is it in a certain radial area? Is it discharging its weapons at random? What sort of weapons does it have? Has it been harmed?
Okay. So you're going out to talk to people. It sounds like it might be Consort or maybe Sway. What do you think?
I think Sway kind of sounds to me like I'm trying to convince someone to tell me something.
Mm-hmm. You influence someone with guile, charm, or logic.
And then what does Consort read as?
Let me pull that up. You socialize with friends and contacts. You might gain access to information, resources, people, or places. You might make a good impression or win someone over with your charm and style. You might make new friends or connect with your heritage or background. You could try to direct your friends with social pressure, but command might be better.
I think Consort makes the most sense there.
Okay. So we're going to do a gather information roll, because why not? That sounds like fun.
Sure.
So this doesn't have position or effect. It's just a gather information roll. So you would roll that as a fortune roll using as the value your number of dice in Consort.
Can you do anything, like, can you push yourself with fortune?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think for gather information you can, because it's just a fortune roll.
Well, let's see what people on the street know.
What is your ranks in Consort?
Just one.
Okay, let's give it a roll then.
That's a critical failure.
Well, it's a 1. So with a gather information roll, that means that the information you get isn't very good. The fortune roll determines how good the information you get is. So let's see what you will learn with a 1. Okay, so the information you learn is mostly stuff that you already knew. The tank is causing damage to the infrastructure in the area because it's too big to fit. They didn't do their measurements properly. They used imperial instead of metric, etc. It appears to be, from some people who saw it, from Exodev. Beyond that, the information you get is mostly people complaining to you about, like, who let a tank loose in the outer layers? This isn't this isn't a testing ground. Who do they think they are? And they destroyed my house, and they destroyed my dog's house. I don't have a dog, but I have a house for a dog, and now I don't have a house for a dog anymore in case I ever get a dog. That kind of thing. People are very upset.
My cabbages. CD asks specifically if there's a number 5 on the side of the tank, if it is number 5.
With the roll that we got, that information would be too specific.
Dang it.
Well, I tried to be coy, and after several hours of questioning random people on the street, I have learned nothing. If it's all the same to everyone, I'm gonna go try to talk to the tank.
Sounds good. We have, coded comms, right? So we can make undetectable messages to like employers, correct?
Well, there's probably a system of dead drops, or you could arrange a meeting.
So like no secure channel.
No.
Okay. How easy would it be to get a message out without the other two noticing?
The other two people on your team?
Yeah.
I mean, it would depend on if they were watching you for that. Like, what reason would Augustus and Slip have to suspect you of making clandestine communications? They're your teammates.
I mean, obviously they watch CD in some sort of odd fascination and amusement, but I don't know if they would pay attention to CD trying to make clandestine dead drops or anything. Mission.
I don't know. What do Augustus and Slip think?
I think it would depend on how obvious you are. Like, I know when somebody's trying to do something shady, and I'm getting the feeling that you're not terribly good at being subtle.
No.
I think Slip might be oblivious to that, just probably because they believe that any sort of malicious guile is beyond you.
It's not exactly malicious. If that puts
I don't think Slip would be
ease.
looking out for that.
Just note that I have, with that roll of a 1 there, I've started a 6-tick clock of Exodev catches wind of your investigation. I put 2 ticks in there.
Okay, perfect. I figured.
While you were out asking around, some snitches probably heard you asking around.
Because I was thinking that CD is about the other thing. I think CD feels guilty that we haven't messaged the junkyard back, and that they don't want to get a negative or like try to assuage some of the negative fallout, and just like want to somehow get information to them about the fact that like your guy got murdered. Someone knows.
Okay, they're aware that their agent has died. Like they said, we know some stuff went down. They still just are like, why haven't you finished the job? Why didn't you bring us the thing?
So
that's the main issue.
So they weren't like, okay, here's another drop, or
they're still expecting you to deliver it to the same place you were going to if you do it quickly enough. Like they are expecting you to do this now, and you've chosen not to do this.
Okay.
Unless you are splitting off from the other two to do your own mission. Which you can do.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It's just
I'm all for it.
I'm just afraid of CD going back to that bar again, basically. CD would probably message them.
Oh, I don't think that bar was the expected drop point. That's where you were going to meet up with George to give him the box, but with George dead and the bar on fire, I'm sure there was a backup location that you had.
Where is this where is it? Is it where there's a lot of heat, or?
It would still be in the mid region, so yeah, there's heat there.
CD will communicate to them then that they cannot go into the mid region because of the heat, personally.
And you're not wanted there. Your heat level hasn't gotten to that point yet. You just have heat, meaning that, people will be more likely to pay attention. But if you are spending your time engaging in this conversation with the employers who are on the job your group chose not to do, this is basically taking up the time you would have to do preparation for the mission that your group has decided to do.
Okay, well, I guess then that CD is going to split off and try to do this other mission, because the tank was the one that they didn't really want to do.
Okay.
And they feel guilty.
Are you telling the rest of your team that you are not going to join them on this job?
I don't know if CD would come right out and tell them that.
Okay. So, what is your preparation for this job? What do you want to do? Because you have to smuggle this artifact now on your own through the outer layers into the mid layers to the meeting point, and you know that there are people looking for it.
I guess what CD is going to do is try to disguise themselves so that they no longer look. I mean, so we're not doing this in the sim anymore. This is completely in the...
You can move between the two. The sim is like an AR overlay, so you can log into the sim theoretically at any time, so long as it's running and there isn't a brownout at the moment. It's just like where you move in the sim is the same as where you're moving in AR, in the real world. It just puts like a skin over things.
Okay, just double checking this then.
Like there are spaces within the sim that don't exist in the real world because there's more space there than exists in the real world. But when you get to those points, it's like your body just stops as the sim goes into, say, a labyrinth with a prisoner in the middle of it, like Slip did.
All right, I have a plan. CD is going to try to rig at like the specific like locale where they would drop it. They don't have it on them, but they're going to rig like a specially timed like lockbox that will open up at the time that they would meet and have the item for the people, so that if it all went pear-shaped, they would not be there.
Okay. So let's do a roll for that, for your preparation. Are you going to do any research into how to get where you're going, or are you just going to wing it?
Oh, CD would, because this is rig, CD is probably going to do a lot of research about how to make like this timed encoded thing that only...
All right, so that all of that is, sorry to interrupt you, all of that is going to be part of your rig roll. The research you do, the preparation, whatever, all of that is your rig roll.
Okay.
My question is, the job, this is part of the preparation for the job, making the rig. The rest of the job is, how is CD going to smuggle this artifact through essentially hostile territory to the meeting point? What's their plan for that?
That might take a little bit of thinking. I mean, I could... Let me check the skulk description, because I'm just thinking.
Okay, so before you're looking at actions, I just want to know, like, don't think about this as rolling.
Right.
What is CD going to do? And we'll figure out the roll based on what CD wants to do.
CD... Oh, wait. I just realized, what about CD logic? And I'm like, oh no. CD logic. CD is trying to become one with the Matrix and pass by unseen.
Okay, so this sounds like you are doing, what's it called here? A transport mission, carry cargo and people through danger?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you doing, okay.
Or
so the
wait,
detail
what's the other one
that you need,
but
there are 6 types of mission.
Right.
Assault, deception, infiltration, mystic, social, and transport. This sounds like a transport job, which means that the detail you have to give me is the route and the means. How are you going to get there, and how are you going to carry the item? So the means you've got is you're going to put a time release on the artifact. The route is how are you going to get to the drop point.
And the route is that CD is going to try to pass by unseen, like make it look like they're going somewhere else, but pass by unseen in a weird Attune-esque, like pretend to be someone else. Like it's basically I'm attuning to appear as something else.
Okay. So,
because that's CD logic.
Let's do your rig roll to see how well you do preparing this device. So, I'm going to say that this is a risky roll because we don't know exactly what the artifact is, and you might set something off, and the effect is going to be standard because you're trying to create a fairly simple locking mechanism. So do a risky standard rig roll.
And I would like to push myself for this because CD has oh wait, how much can I push myself? Look at the cheat sheet, Colleen.
You have 2 stress currently. If you push yourself, you'll be at 4 stress starting the mission.
Okay, so no, then I will not push myself because I'd rather use that for something else.
All right, then just roll your rig. Risky standard.
2.
Okay. So it doesn't work, but as you are attempting to rig the time release thing on this device, it springs open, and you can see that a counter has started. A countdown has begun. You don't know exactly. It looks like the countdown is a matter of hours, 5 hours.
Oh no.
So that's the amount of time that you're going to have to get from where you are to the drop point. Okay. So we're going to do your engagement roll now, I think. And then we'll pop over and see what the other 2 are doing on the tank mission.
Sorry for accidentally not accidentally hijacking, but taking precedence here.
Okay, engagement roll is a fortune roll. We're going to start with 1 die for sheer luck. We're going to modify the pool for major advantages and disadvantages. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? I would say probably yes. You're trying to cross through dangerous territory on your own, so we'll add 1 die there. You're at 2 now. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I don't think so. Is the target strongest against this approach? Any particular defenses? No, so that's a wash. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I guess yes, because CD would be trying to attune with the simulation to be somewhat invisible or camouflaged. So technically, Slip could give them pointers into attuning.
Slip is on a different job. This has to be one of your contacts.
Oh, well, then let me look at my contacts.
Either your contacts or the Probable Cause contacts. Probable Cause contacts are AOL, the Dockmaster, A-Track, the keen-eared barkeep at the Iron Butterfly, Og, a tow truck captain, XL, a diplomat, who is the person you are trying to get to right now, and Rooter, the info broker.
Well, what if the tow truck person... Oh, wait, no, it's not an actual truck that CD could hide in. Dang it.
Well, the person is a tow truck. You could probably hide in them or in a box that they're dragging or something.
Okay. Could CD...
Autobots roll out.
Could CD use that as part of their way of getting there, as part of the leg of the journey?
Yeah, sure. We'll add a die for that. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Take -1 if so. All right, so you're currently at 3 dice. Enemies or rivals. There are enemy factions involved here. So that brings us back down to 2. Any other elements that you might want to consider? A lower tier target will give you +1. Do you know? Maybe there's a situation in the system that makes everything more or less tricky. You are on a timer, so I would say that's -1. So you have 1 die to roll here for your engagement roll.
Okay. So just 1.
Yeah, and it's just a fortune roll that you're doing.
Please, dice. Please work. Please make it up to me. Well, that was
4.
a 4. That did help a little bit.
Okay. Mixed result. You're in a risky position when the action starts. Okay. And we will figure out what that is when we pop back over to you. But for now, so you didn't have a whole lot of luck with your investigation slip. Augustus, how are you preparing for the mission?
I may also pull the old switcheroo and help my own goals by helping Slip.
Okay. And what does that look like?
I want to try to see if I can get Ishtar to send some Bacchanal folks to help the people disparaged by the rampaging tank. And then, document the Bacchanal being good Samaritans and the destruction caused by the tank.
All right. So you want to get some assistance that will hopefully reflect well on them. Okay. So it sounds like you're going to consort with your connections here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is controlled, I think, and will have standard effect. Are you talking directly to Ishtar here, or is this somebody else?
Yeah, Ishtar.
Okay. Okay.
It's a half crit.
So you got two 3s on the consort there. I think in this case, when you approach Ishtar and ask for this assistance, Ishtar says, I have a great deal of respect for you, Augustus. And I appreciate that you have priorities that differ from ours from time to time. However, we must focus all of our efforts on combating the smear campaign, and so we will not be able to assist you in this moment. My deepest apologies, friend Augustus, but you will have to go this on your own, as we have been left bereft on our own to deal with this campaign of propaganda.
Why they gotta be like that?
Can I try to steal some robes?
They asked for help, and you went after a tank instead.
It was the dice's fault.
Real friends would understand that we need the tank.
These are not your friends. These are your contacts.
Everyone is Augustus's friend.
See, it's what I told you. She doesn't see the big scheme.
Okay, so what type of plan do you want to do for the tank? Do you want to assault, do violence to a target? Deception, lure, trick, or manipulate. Infiltration, trespass unseen. Mystic, engage mystic, way, or sim power. Social, negotiate, bargain, or persuade, or transport, carry cargo or people through danger. What's your approach to the tank?
You want to get weird?
Always.
I think I could enter into a contest of wills with it.
So the detail for a mystic plan is the arcane power. What arcane power will you call upon in order to engage this plan?
My innate ability to communicate with digital minds.
Okay. Your weird sim abilities?
Mind freak.
I'm trying to think if this would...
Slip's Angel.
How well this would work. Well, I guess we'll find out how well it will work when we do our engagement roll.
Okie doke.
You get a weird ping from CD saying, "Oh, if we get the tank, can we name it Sheila?"
I leave CD on red.
It was a group message though, so Augustus can mark the bingo.
It's another bingo.
All right, something I forgot to ask you as well, CD. What loadout do you want to have?
Just go heavy.
Yeah.
Kill a bunch of people.
CD would probably go heavy actually in this case.
What?
Rack up those murder charges.
Hell yeah.
I just want to be clear with you.
I'm not saying the CD has murder on their mind, but
It's an infiltration.
So heavy
though.
means that it will be very obvious that you are loaded for bear.
okay.
And you will have, like, that would essentially be CD strapping like a battle kit to their chassis. It would be very obvious that you're going somewhere to get in trouble or cause
Well,
trouble.
it wouldn't be a battle. It would not be a battle kit, but you're right. Okay. Well, then I guess normal.
Okay. CD in a trench coat would be basically normal
Yep.
to hide the things that they are taking
You
with
know,
them. So I'll just put your
These
normal.
rules just get in the way of my fun sometimes.
They don't have to. I'm just telling you what the consequences are of the choices you want to make.
I know. That's the
You want
problem.
to bring your fight shovel? Bring your fight shovel. Just know that you're gonna have to. Some people are gonna see your fight shovel.
No, Keva
Mm-hmm.
had the fight shovel. CD does not.
And Mandukai had a very nice fight shovel.
That too.
You got to be prepared to defend the magic boxes you steal.
Augustus and Slip, what type of loadout are you going to have?
I'm good with light.
Yeah, probably light. We're just going to be weird.
You're going to go fight a tank with light loadout. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Is this plan especially bold or daring?
I mean, bold and daring are synonyms of the words I might choose in this case. So yeah, we'll be at 2 dice for that. Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? It isn't. Your plan seems to be to walk up to a tank and try and mind freak it. So that's not complicated.
That is my plan.
Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? The tank is not alive, so it's not technically in the sim. So I don't think it hits them where they're weakest, but it's also not something they have particularly strong defenses against, so that's probably a wash. Now, your friends or contacts provide aid or insight from this operation. We asked, and they said no, so we're still at 2. Are there any other elements that you want to consider? ExoDev is 2 tiers higher than you, and it's a tank. So I'm going to remove a die from that. So where are we now?
I have a single die.
All right, let's roll it.
Velvet, would you do the honors? Because I've had a cursed run of the dice ever since my session 0.
Oh, I'm not faring any better, but yes. You know
I
what?
believe in the heart of the dice that believes in the heart of you.
Maybe I'll even bring my large luxury item. I'll bring my gauntlet. What do I roll for this? Just my attune if we're being weird?
Fortune roll.
Oh.
Fortune roll with 1 die.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, you got a 5. So mixed result, you're in a risky position when the action starts.
You don't say.
I mean, I did. Okay, so we're going to have to bounce back and forth between the missions here as things go.